Alright boys, today I'm going to be presenting to you why traditional advice is ruining ambitious men. Let's get into it. When I first realized this scam, it was in 2020 when they made sure that 99% of people followed their orders and took something that I can't name in this video. I believe there was some sort of virus going around. Now, I might just have been the only one in my school not to have followed their orders. I'm 1 out of 1,000, but that's besides the point. The core lesson here is that if society can make you follow an order once, they can literally dictate your life. My mission in this video is to expose the 3 main lies that are killing ambitious men. The first one's going to be monetary, then lifestyle, lastly, about principles. The play it safe trap. This is the most common one. They tell you to get a degree, work a job, stay loyal to that company, save money, and that eventually it'll pay off, especially if you work hard, right? But here's the thing, hard work in the wrong direction means nothing. If hard work paid off, then the donkey would own the farm. You cannot save your way to wealth, especially when you let elements out of your control your wealth creation methods. That means when you put it in the hands of the government, the economy, or the stock market, you cannot control those things. Hence, your so-called wealth creation method is unpredictable and, most important of all, unreliable. Here's my personal experience with that. I went to college knowing that it was a total waste of time, and indeed it ended up being a waste of time because I left 5 months after getting into it. I just listened to advice from people who were not in a position that I wanted to be in. This ended up being a big mistake. I don't want you to take advice from people who are not in a position that you aspire to be in. Playing it safe guarantees mediocrity. Just look at 99% of people around you. What kind of life are they leading? Is this the life that you want to lead for yourself? The comfort first scam. I mean, you hear it in rap music, right? YOLO, you only live once. They also tell you not to compare yourself, that good things come with time. But the reality is that comfort breeds regret, and time doesn't owe you anything. To live in comfort is to, more often than not, neglect your obligations and what you know in your mind you're supposed to do. Well, that might create temporary comfort, but over a long enough time frame, if you stay in your comfort zone, you listen to people telling you that you're doing just fine, you compare yourself to the lowest of people out there, you're satisfied with your current position every day, well, you're gonna figure out 10 years from now that you've wasted a decade. And I'm addressing myself to men here specifically. Time doesn't owe you anything. Today is the only guaranteed day that you have. Hell, the next hour isn't even guaranteed, so you must make sure that you do the most out of every single day. Today is the most important day of your life, and you must make sure it is by taking the right actions. Every day you should surpass yourself from yesterday. The most depressing moments in my life was when I knew something needed to be done and I didn't do it. That could have happened when I was on vacation, for example. Didn't have access to internet connection. I was just tearing myself apart from the inside. Not to compare yourself only helps losers, because if they start comparing themselves, they're probably gonna end themselves. In contrast, winners use comparison to measure progress and instill competitiveness within themselves. Comfort kills ambition, and each day of comfort delays becoming who you're meant to be. Think about it. Each day of comfort means what? It could mean sitting in front of the TV, not working out. Well, what does that make you look after 6 months? You're gonna be sloppy, you're gonna be fat, your brain is gonna be foggy, you're not even gonna be motivated to do much else than what you're used to doing. Eat, sleep, repeat. The nice guy deception. This is a big one. This is instilled in school. At an early age, we teach us to be humble, obedient, realistic, not to stand out, not to challenge, right? I remember in school, and I remember in elementary school, they taught us poetry, and I was like to my teacher, how is this gonna help me find a job? And she just sat there in silence. She couldn't answer, in complete awe of my comment. Now, I was only maybe, 14 or 15 years old. But at the time, I was starting to understand that it was complete BS what they were teaching us, and that the curriculum was maybe 40 or 50 years old. hadn't been updated, and that the teachers themselves were oblivious to the fact that what they were doing was more hurting us than it was benefiting us. Traditional advice creates compliant men, not strong ones. Most people wait for approval from others who don't even understand them. Only you know specifically what's right for your own life. You know exactly what you want out of life. You also know exactly your personal history, your flaws, your qualities. And so there's nobody else that's better suited than yourself to take decisions for yourself. The world rewards boldness, not obedience, and it doesn't reward overly shy men. Every day that you play it safe, you kill another potential version of yourself. In life, I've come to realize that a lot of the good things that I've been able to amass came from a domino effect, where it all started with one small step where I stepped out of my comfort zone. That, for example, allowed me to get into sales, more specifically car sales at 18. Now, I didn't have any prior sales experience. I didn't have a driver's license. I was too young. I had all the reasons for me to logically sit down and say, bro, there's no chance you're gonna get into that job. Just don't even try. And that would have made perfect sense to all the people around me. But like I said, you know your circumstances better than anyone else, and you're the best place to make decisions for yourself. Traditional advice is a clear system that is built to keep men predictable. Work hard with no direction. Be patient until it's too late. Be realistic, because thinking big is threatening. It's all a big lie, because if you look at the successful men out there, they've clearly went against all these rules. And the people teaching you these very rules have went against them themselves. I want you to sit down for 5-10 minutes. Think about it. How many times have you fallen into their trap? This is not a conversation about the Matrix or anything of the likes. It's about differentiating advice that's actually beneficial for you versus something that's there to destroy you. This advice works and is applicable for 99% of people, because 99% of people get average results. But if you're watching this, I know that's not what you're looking for. There's a way for you to protect yourself against all of this and to make the right decisions consistently. Unfortunately, I can't reveal them all in this video because there's not enough time. But if you want to learn more, check the first link in the description. That's it for today.